Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama, and this is Cheese with Ease for all of you people who love all of the aggressive fun builds, and we are going to be doing Partl's Immortal Sentry all-in vs Zerg. And really quickly, if your name is Saint X37, you won $100 in the MrLlamaSC ad revenue giveaway yesterday. And I tried to contact you, I sent you a message, I posted a comment in your channel. I know everybody doesn't check their inbox on YouTube and stuff, so I'm really trying to push because I see you're active. You posted something like a couple hours ago, so or not like on my channel, or you liked a video or something, so I know you're on YouTube all the time and stuff. But yeah, so if that's, I saw you liked one of my other Cheese with These videos, so I made this one hoping that you would watch it. Go check your inbox so we can get everything sorted out so I can send you the money, because I know you're active and I would really like to send it to you and not have to do a redraw, which would be very unfortunate because you're just not contacting me. So yeah, go ahead and do that. But anyways, yeah, so we'll go ahead and get back into it. This is Parting's PvZ Immortal Sentry all in, as I said, and it hits early, right? He pushes out like 9 minutes. And I'm going to try and do it as best as I can, right? So I'm not going to be perfect. He does put the pylon in his base, and then he gets the forge in his main, right? So he goes for a nexus first, right here, and then he goes for a pylon. Let me go busy really quick. So yeah, so then he goes for a nexus and then a forge in his base, and this will actually be effective against like an early pool. I don't know how early of a pool, but I would imagine a decently early pool it'd be effective against. So at the very least, it's effective against something like a 14 pool opening if they like send lings immediately over. I mean, it'll defend that, of course, if they go out here. And then I think it's, like I said, I haven't really looked into the logistics of that, but from what I've heard, this is an effective way to do it. So you go for 16 Nexus, and then you go for a 16 Forge, and then you start probe production again. Then you come down here and you build your pylon. Bad Mr. Llama for waiting so long. Next time, just leave the probe that builds this nexus down here to build the pylon, and you can leave it down to build the gateway if you do wish. Because here we get up to 1818, so now I'm going to get the slightest supply block because I was late on that pylon. So don't do that. But yeah, so now I can send this guy down. So as soon as the pylon finishes, I can go ahead and throw down my gateway, of course, and then I can get a cannon as well. Very, very soon. So it should be... Oh, I'm going to take gas first. Okay, so I go for double gas and then cannon, I think, which is backwards. Go for the cannon first. Yeah, so you'll want to take an 18 or 19 cannon, and I should be putting it up very soon. I'm surprised. There we go. I'm like, oh crap, I knew I forgot something. Yeah, so there's going to be the cannon, so it's going to be the slightest bit late. But you know what? Stuff happens. That's totally okay. We fix it in the video when I tell you what to do right here. So yeah, so you don't do that. So I get on my double gas right here. I'm just going to be chrono boosting out probes, right? So just notice how I'm just boosting out my probes, boosting out my probes. Now I'm going to head over here. I'm going to build another pylon, okay? And I'm going to build a cybernetics core. So this, of course, is starting to complete that wall off that you want to have against the Zerg army. And also, I would like to note that you probably should scout a little earlier than I scouted, right? So in this, do I actually get this Overlord? I'd feel bad. No, I don't. Okay. So in this video, I don't scout till later, right? Like 5:30, I think I scout. You probably want to scout a little bit earlier. You don't have to scout after 9, but you can scout, like, parting scouts at like 18, I think. And then he goes over, sends a probe, makes sure a third is building, and then he backs the probe out. So at this point, I'm just kind of continuing on through the build. I get my +1, and then I get a I research Warp Gate, and I get a Stalker, and I boost both of those just one time. That's all the boosting you're going to do on each of those, and then I should be throwing up a robotics facility very, very, very soon. So 36 supply, you want to throw up your robotics facility. So I get that up, and then additionally, I want to be taking a third sometime soon, and there we go. So you want to take it like 37 if you can. This Stalker is good for denying Overlord scouts, things like that. Additionally, it's good to just clear out this watchtower, but I wouldn't go too far with it. This probe right here should be fine to get over to his third base, even though I sent it out late, because no Zerg's going to have speed that early unless he opened up with like a gas expand, in which case that's weird. Most Zerg players wouldn't be doing it at a higher level, but I suppose at lower league levels they might be doing it. So I'm just going to continue putting guys on my gas right here. Gonna start making sentries out of this gateway. I probably could have started that a tiny bit earlier. But yeah, just make your sentries and just get ready. Don't get supply blocked like I did right there. And here he finally has speed, so I see he's coming. Okay, I can just head over here and drop a gateway to block it off. And so now I have a gateway to block it off, and unfortunately my stalker did not quite get home. I should have let him in first, so that was a little bit bad on my part, but now I can start throwing down a couple additional gateways and getting out a robotics facility. So you do not have to get all of these. Actually, at 44 you do want to add 2 more gates. That's right. So here's the second gate that I should have added, I suppose. So you had like 2 gates at 44, and then around like 60 you'll add 3 and then 4 more gates. So here I am able to save him with that first force field, but unfortunately the second one I'm not able to save him. And of course I start my 4th gas now around 53, 54. I make sure I'm continually chrono boosting out immortals. Always be boosting out immortals, because you want to have those very quickly, so then of course you can push out with your immortals a little bit later on. And I think I actually hit later in this game than I should, right? So I think I'm a little bit slow on it. And warp in sentries, there you go. So warp in sentries when you can. Yum. There's more sentries. Here's more gateways. So I'm just continuing on with that. Make sure you're not getting supply blocked, right? So I'm going to be throwing down pylons very soon. There we go. So making sure that I always have supply. And here we have our robotics facility. That should be getting chrono boosted out shortly. And then, of course, with that chrono boost, I can... with that 3rd immortal I can push out. So right now I should be about pushing out, and that's just because I was a little bit slow on chrono boosting my immortal right there. So it's going to slow me down about 15-20 seconds. I mean, I'm not parting, I'm doing what I can, but here I can continue warping in sentries, warping in immortals, and then once I get this nice army I can morph these into gateways and get ready to start pushing out right here, kill off the pylon. And the important thing is you kill it off and then you wall it in behind, right? So now I'm going to grab a probe, send that. Make sure you send a probe, because you want to be able to have a pylon over there. And yes, you're going to have this warp prism. So note I wall it off again, and I add some zealots in as well. But yeah, so yes, you're going to have this warp prism, which is so key, because if he picks off your pylons, who cares? You have a warp prism, nothing's really getting that. If he goes mutas, he can get it, but then at the same time, you can still be well defended against mutas. I mean, I played this guy four times, and I won all 4 times, and I felt this one best showcased the build. But yeah, so I won all 4 times, and it was, I mean, it was, you know, he tried various strategies to hold it, and it was very tough. I actually do have an Immortal Sentry all-in hold video as well for my Winning with Ease series, so that could be helpful to some of you guys. But yeah, so here we get over here versus this guy. I need to be careful. I probably should have force fielded. Wasn't quite watching my army, so now I'm going to force field some units in. Lost a couple too many sentries right there. Stuff happens. I warp in some stalkers, get an observer out over there as well in case he has burrow. Don't really use my stalkers enough. So even now, it's, you know, I'm not microing my army the best. I will admit that for sure, but I still have a very strong army right here, and it's still going to be extremely difficult for him to really do too much damage. And I can continue just warping in, and then of course I have my warp prism somewhere. Where'd my warp prism go? I had it in my sights. Well, my warp prism, oh, there it is, right. So my warp prism's right there in the event that I need to warp in. I have this pylon though, so I'm completely fine just warping in with that. So I can easily just push in, kill off his 3rd, just continue chrono boosting out your gateways. Here I noticed I had some extra money, so I go ahead and throw down 2 additional gateways, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So here you'll see he's going to be investing to try and like pick that stuff off, but I have a warp prism, so if he picks off that pylon, it does absolutely nothing. It's really not helpful for him. I don't have too many force fields left right there, unfortunately, because I did... Oh my goodness, what's my mouse? I did sacrifice some sentries there early on, but regardless, I still have a very strong army, and I can easily just push forward. And now I'm going to be using this this warp in right here, this warp prism, and I can easily just push forward, and there's really not much he can do. So this was one of the 4 games, and every game basically went like that. Sometimes... one game he went muted, and I just warped in around to stalkers with my army, and that was easy. Another game he had like a lot of lings, and you can just force field. I mean, it's a very strong army composition, right? We all know this. But yeah, so just make sure you're going back home, chrono boosting your warp gates. As you can see, I'm boosting all my gates right there. and then you're just warping in. And once you break in and you can just get some force fields down, you can really focus on your army. There's not much to do at home. You have these 4 geysers right here. You have all your gateways. You don't need to be making anything outside of your box facility. I like to get the observer in case he has burrow or something like that. You have your warp prism to warp in, and I mean at this point it's just roll to victory. A very, very, very strong cheese, and very difficult to defend. So that's going to be it. My name is MrLlama. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you know Saint X37, go ahead and give him a call for me. I'll see you guys next time.